God loves you. If you're surprised that I'm not out on one of my greenways walking like I usually do for these videos, it's because it is so stinking cold outside today. It's the temperature is, I don't know that the temperature is going to get up out of the teens. It may get into the low 20s, but whew, it's really cold outside. And so I just decided to do this one indoors. By the way, I wanted to go ahead and show you, I've got a jigsaw puzzle that I'm working on now. This one's kind of fun. It's interesting. It's a version of Starry Night by Van Gogh, and about halfway through with it. But I wasn't always interested in jigsaw puzzles. You know, they were okay. I didn't mind them, but one year when I was in graduate school, this was back in the late 80s, I was at school, and it was the Christmas season. Everybody at school was getting off for a 2-week break to go home, but I couldn't go home because I was working my way through graduate school, and so I had to work during the break. Well, everybody I knew left. All my friends were gone to their homes for the holiday season, but I still had to stay and work. So the hospital where I was working had this thing where, you know, you get paid your regular wage, but on holidays you'd get time and a half. And for overtime, you'd get time and a half. So I thought, well, here's what I'll do. To work through the loneliness, on Christmas Eve, which was considered a holiday, I'll work 2 shifts back to back. And then on Christmas Day, I'll work 2 shifts back to back. So it would be essentially in 2 days, I would work 4 shifts, but essentially get paid for 7 shifts, because the overtime, the holiday pay would make regular time and a half, and then the overtime would be double time that I'd get paid. So still, it was you know, I figured that working through the holiday might make it less lonely, more bearable. The only problem was the hospital called me a day or 2 before I would have started those shifts and said, and I don't know if this was a legal thing or a policy thing, you can't work both of those double shifts. You have to pick one or the other. I said, well, okay, I'll work Christmas Day, double shift. They said, okay, so Christmas Eve you'll have off. I said, okay, not what I wanted to do. And so on Christmas Eve, rather than going to work that morning, I drove to the grocery store to try to get some junk food or whatever to kind of get me through the holiday, because I was feeling lonely. And wouldn't you know it, on the way to the grocery store, I'm passing by these houses that have the big, you know, picture windows in the front of the house. They've got the drapes drawn, all kinds of cars in the driveway and parked on the street. People are decorating the tree, putting gifts under the tree, hugging each other as they show up, putting the star on top of the tree. And I'm thinking, you know, these are like Norman Rockwell paintings on each house that I'm passing by, just making me feel worse and worse. I get to the store, buy some junk food, probably popcorn, or chips and dip. I know I got me a big chunk of chocolate that I brought home with me. But while I was at the store, they had this little rack that had a few jigsaw puzzles on it. So I picked up a jigsaw puzzle. And this is not the exact puzzle, but it is a picture of the town that was on the jigsaw puzzle that I got. So I brought it home, ate the junk food, put the puzzle together. By the time I was done with the puzzle, it was 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I went to bed, slept well, got up the next day, worked through my Christmas double shift, and everything was fine. So really, that jigsaw puzzle got me through the holiday without just major depression. A few days later, I'm back at the same grocery store, and they had like 2 or 3 tables set up, just stacked deep in all these new jigsaw puzzles. And so I thought, well, you know, I enjoyed doing that last one. I'll see about getting another one. And then I saw this one. I said, holy cow, that looks like the same little town, but covered in snow. So I picked it up, brought it home. When my friends got back to school, I said, hey, let's have a jigsaw puzzle night. So a half dozen or so of us got together at somebody's apartment, put together the jigsaw puzzle. It was great. And so I had 2 jigsaw puzzles of the same town. 2-3 months later, I'm at a toy store. I think maybe I was getting gifts for a couple of my nephews because they had birthdays in March. And I saw another jigsaw puzzle of the same town, different town. I said, I got to get this jigsaw puzzle. Different picture, same town, different dimensions on the puzzle. Got it, put it together, took it apart, but now I'm wondering, where in the world is this little town? I'm starting to fall in love with this little town. In fact, I started labeling the boxes on the different puzzles that I'd get. This one that was in snow is the second jigsaw puzzle I got of that town. It wasn't until I got my 4th jigsaw puzzle of the town did I find out that this little town is Waits River, Vermont. Now you'll notice in this one, and I think on the previous ones as well, the church shutters are painted green. But by the time I got to puzzle number 6, that's right, I was looking for these puzzles. I started looking for these anytime I could get an opportunity. They had painted the church shutters white. Puzzle number 6. Now you can see the white clouds just to your left of the church steeple there are the same white clouds to your left of the church steeple as on puzzle number 7. I know I collected up to number 8, maybe even 9 or 10 or 11 before I stopped counting. How many is this of this little town? Here's probably my latest one. Again, it's a smaller box than the others, but I don't have a number on the back of it. Yeah, I've opened it, put it together, and this is obviously in the middle of the fall colors and whatnot. But I decided at one point that I wanted to go to that town and take my own pictures of this church and the little community. I don't know if you can tell in this shot, but right there, right in front of the church, I don't know if it's going to zoom in or if it's going to be blurry or what, that you can see. There's a stop sign. It's the only stop sign in town, and there's no stop lights or anything, traffic lights. When I was working for a company doing training in all different parts of the world, probably, I'm going to say 10 years after all this happened, I got a week that I was going to be at the Vermont capital, Montpelier, Vermont, teaching a class. And there's the largest city in Vermont is called Burlington, and that was really the only place I could fly into. but it was on the other side of Montpelier from this town. So instead, I flew into Boston, drove through the town, did my teach at Montpelier, and on the way back to Boston, from Boston, I took pictures from that same angle of this same town. I'm hoping that at some point, I'll be able to send the picture or one of the pictures and make my own jigsaw puzzle. But I just wanted to, I mean, there's no there's no message or anything in it. There's no great revelation on my part from that story. Just Waits River, Vermont is the little town that saved my Christmas one year when I was going to be very depressed, very lonely, and wishing that I could be with friends and family. Ever since then, I have really enjoyed putting together jigsaw puzzles, obviously of that town, but just about any of them. Any jigsaw puzzle. We don't always have one going. We probably do, I don't know, 2 or 3 a year. At any rate, that's the story for today. Thanks for listening / watching, and I'll see you next time.